Welcome back to this already, the final segment of today's Price of Business for this Friday morning. I hope you're getting ready for a great weekend. I, for one, am still recovering from my last weekend, but looking forward. I need some rest to rest from my last weekend. Wasn't very restful, so those extra days was killing me. But anyway, I'm delighted to be able to talk a little bit more about what's happening on the business front with a topic that I think is extremely important, which is does your product or service need C-suite attention? You know, how do you get the attention of C-suite executives in the busy world in which we live in? Nic Franklin, he's president of Digital Abstract. Nic, a little bit about yourself, kind of give us the elevator speech, and tell us a little bit about the company. Give us a profile, if you will.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. Well, what we do is we go into courthouses in areas that have a lot of oil and gas activity, and then we digitize all of the records that are in those courthouses, and then we send that off to be indexed in a way that's a lot more valuable to the oil and gas community and the lawyers who are working with the oil and gas community. We make that searchable, and we just make it a lot more useful than the very basic way that the courthouses do.
Okay, and so what's the economic incentive for you to do it this way?
Well, the data is very valuable, and so we're able to then sell that mineral data to the oil and gas companies. Right now, we're working on an online platform so that they'll be able to do that remotely. That way, they don't have to send somebody. You know, we're in the middle of nowhere with our early counties. Most of the, where the oil is typically not where a bunch of people are living. So we'll be able to allow them to do that remotely, but do-it-yourself sort of thing. But even right now, they can just send us an email and say, "Hey, I need all this data," and then we charge them. We charge them for that data. And it's very valuable, and it's good for us and it's good for them.
Yeah, very interesting. Let me ask you, and I love this concept. I think it's fantastic. And what's interesting is that a lot of this technology has been around now to be able to do this for quite some time. What do you think has created the lag time to make this happen?
Well, it's expensive. It takes a lot of capital, and you have to believe that this oil and gas boom is going to last, more than 18 months to recapture your original investment. And I think that there's been enough people burned by the boom bust cycle that they're reluctant to put, millions of dollars into our specific kind of business. That said, the technology has really improved just in the last 3 years. I would say that's how recently it's been possible to do what we're doing. And so, our group, we believe that this isn't going away in 6 months. We're making a pretty big bet on the energy sector here in Texas being around for a while.
How big of a team do you have?
Well, we just doubled the size of our team last week from 3 full-time employees to now we have 8. So things are going well. We've only been open for 2 months, and so I'd say things are going well.
Yeah, I would say so. What is the who is your typical client?
The typical client is going to be anything from the independent solo landman all the way up to the land department of a large national oil and gas company. Everything in between. And sometimes we also work a lot with attorneys, and the attorneys that are doing oil and gas drilling title opinions, they might be a solo practitioner, or they might be working for a large, statewide or national firm.
Okay. And your team of 8, how many of them are actually in the courthouse getting that information?
That part doesn't take too much time anymore. We just have one person who's traveling to the region that we're starting out in. So she goes to 5 different counties. But we had a team that spent over a year, several people going to these counties to do all of the digitizing, because we digitize these things going back to the 1800s. So that took a while. That team is now finished with that. So now all we have to do is maintain the records. And right now, just with our small region, that's only one person doing that. As we add more counties, it will obviously require more people to do the maintaining piece of it.
What counties are you working now?
I'm sorry?
What counties are you currently working?
We're up in the northeast Texas Panhandle. Those are Ochiltree County, Lipscomb County, Hemphill County, and Roberts County. It's this square in the top right portion of the Texas Panhandle.
Yeah, when I was in college, I did campaign management for a couple of races and had to go to county courthouse after county courthouse to manually look for election returns to figure out what the base race was, what the top Republican was, what the top Democrat was, to figure out, how a projection of how things could look for an election cycle. Man, you talk about laborious. Man, that must. What'd you get? Some poor college student to do it?
No, we have a team. They have to be very attention oriented. If we miss even just one document out of hundreds of thousands, it's a real problem. And so it's such a basic. Don't get me wrong, that is a boring job. You're just feeding piece of paper after piece of paper into a scanner, but the attention to detail is so important, so that when somebody's actually looking at these documents to index them, they see that they don't miss anything. We literally can't. If we miss even just one document, it breaks a chain of title, and that's a problem. So we have a team of. They are really specialized. They've been doing this probably more than anybody that's ever done anything like this. They've been in a lot of courthouses across the country.
Very interesting. Well, interesting. So you got started when? When did you get going?
Well, the company was formed in February of last year. A business partner and I were talking at the Cotton Bowl, Johnny Football Cotton Bowl performance, and we decided we wanted to do this. And so we started that process, and the scanning and the building and the indexing took a long time. We officially opened our doors in February of this year, so it took almost exactly a year for us to officially open. March was really our first full month of operations.
March of this year?
March of this year, yes, sir.
Fantastic. Wow. Well, I think it's very bold. And you're corporately located where?
Our main headquarters are in Canadian, Texas, and then we just opened last week.
Canadian, Texas? That's right there on the border.
It is.
Yeah.
In fact, all of our counties, except for one, share a Oklahoma border. But we just opened our second office last week in Perryton, Texas, which is about 45 miles from here, to keep up with the demand for our services.
So when you're looking for a good time, you head to Amarillo?
Yeah. Yes. That is, if you really want to have a good time, you go to Oklahoma City. But if you just want to have a good time, you go to Amarillo.
Yeah. How far is Oklahoma City?
It's 3.5 hours. And that's really where the bulk of our customers, the oil and gas companies that are working the Texas Panhandle, are located in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, but we're talking about good time. We're not talking about work. What about Amarillo? How far is Amarillo?
Amarillo is an hour and a half.
Goodness, God bless you, man. Wow, I lived in Amarillo for a while, and that was not big enough. So well, you know what, though? You're making money. I think that's great, and I hope you continue to be industrious. Are you an Aggie?
I am. I'm an Aggie and a Longhorn. I claim both.
Well, God bless you. That means you got multiple personality disorder. Well, good luck with that. So, are you? Was your background your degree in engineering?
No, I'm an attorney.
An attorney.
I ran a title company before and saw this opportunity, and I was doing intellectual property for a while, and that's kind of where the law and technology kind of converged, and that's really what our business is about. Is the reason that you need these things is it has to do the data that we're selling has to do with legal requirements, and it's been a big technology process. So it kind of combined where my past and interests had been all into one thing. I don't have to practice law much anymore.
Awesome. Nic Franklin has been our guest. He's president of Digital Abstract. That's digitalabstract.net, and he is up in the middle of nowhere, just north of the middle of nowhere. And but delighted to have you on the show. I do want to encourage the listener to check out your article that you can contribute to at priceofbusiness.com. Thanks for that contribution, and thanks for being on our show.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Do want to thank the listener as well for joining us here on today's program. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Do want to remind you that today's program brought to you in part by Greater Prairie Business Consulting. I do hope you have a great weekend. I do hope you have a great rest of your day. Do want to remind you our show continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com. Plus, don't forget to check us out at usdailyreview.com. While there, like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter. Have a great day.